What's going on, everyone? We're going to do a quick video on the taking out of the differential in our 1990 Miata. It's open diff, so we'll run through the process real quick of what we're doing. Step number one, lift the car up on some kick-ass jack stands that are old as shit. Step number two, get to the axles, and they're just studs, so we have nuts on them. So we took them off on both sides. What size was that, Alex? 14 mil to get, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and use your imagination. I bet you guys can find out where the 4th one is on this one. You guys are pretty smart. Step number 3, we are taking the bolts off of the drive shaft, which is located right behind the differential. There's also 4 bolts on there. I think we're gonna need a 14 for the nut and probably a 12 or so to hold the bolt in the front. But disconnecting that is the next step on the list, and we'll be back once that's done. We're gonna show you guys what we found to be a very easy way. Alex, where are you at? There you are. An easy way to get these things loose. The drive shaft. Okay, it's in. There we go. Alright, that's one. And now the other one. Alright, Alex. And that should be enough. Yep, that's it. Little tricky.
Very nice.
So these are the last 2 bolts right here for the drive shaft. The other 2, we got the 2 out on the bottom, and then we pulled the e-brake and we rotated the drive shaft, so these are on the bottom.
We let the e-brake down.
Yeah. We ripped the e-brake, so we rotated it so that these were on the bottom, and it just makes it a lot easier to get to. And the same with your axles also. You can also rotate those to get an easier position on these also, if you need it.
It's just like a brace
So we have some kind of brace in here
that runs along the drive shaft.
And next up is the 2 bolts that are attached to it. Right there, they're extremely long. They go all the way to the top of the brace. And you guys can see how big that brace is. It's all the way up here to down there. The bolts are extremely long, so we're using the old breaker bar to go ahead and get that off. We were trying to use an impact gun, but it was extremely loud and it wasn't going very far, so we just decided to use this, and it's actually working a lot better. But those 2 bolts are next up on the list. Turn them, and then we should be able to pull them out.
So we loosen them with this so it doesn't kill our ears, and then zip zip.
Nice. Those look, what is that on them?
Huh? It's just a really big shoulder bolt.
What's that green stuff though?
Probably some sort of Loctite
Okay.
that somebody put on there, which is why it was having trouble spinning in the first place.
Nice. Well, that shows you just how long those things are, guys. So they are up there. Alright, so for safety purposes, just to be careful, putting a jack stand underneath the differential. The next bolts we're doing are, let's find them, right there. So 1, 2, 3 bolts you see right there. Those are the next 3 that we do, and that is actually what's holding the diff actually up. So we're gonna take those 3 out, and it should start to come out. That is actually hopefully that's the plan, at least.
Can be loud.
Oh, that came out easy.
You see it kind of shifts down a little bit?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see it now though. Yeah,
She's loose.
she's tilted.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just...
Hung over a little, buddy?
Dude, I have not gotten that drunk in years.
Yeah, you were fucked up last night, dude. Like,
Dude,
legitimate.
that was like, yeah, no, I couldn't see straight or anything, dude. That was nuts. I've not been like that in so long.
Are you going on that date tonight?
Yeah, man, I guess so. I really wish I hadn't gotten so
Oh
drunk last
snap!
night.
You don't want to
Just got
go?
a date.
We got this like collar or whatever that supports the mounting point for the diff. So want to do the other side, get the jack on the diff, and then lower the diff a little bit, and then we can pull the axles out on each side, and then as we pull it back, it'll come out of the drive shaft.
All right. Well, we got this one out on this side, so we just got
Two
that
more
side over
over
there,
here.
2 more bolts over there.
Let's get the jack under here before we do this.
Go ahead, Alex. Show us your jack skills. This is how we get our workouts in.
No leg day today.
Nope. But your left leg is going to be very strong. Your right leg, not so much. Oh,
Alternate.
wait.
Ooh, I got that fancy too with my legs crossed
Yep. The ladies are going to love you.
and my pinkies up. So now you know that I'm a gentleman. We just got this bolt and nut out from the
Upper control arm.
here, and then all that does is lean the hub assembly forward and give you more room to pull the axle off of the diff.
Right there.
So just drop that down and let it sit.
It's hitting the exhaust right now, so it's actually sitting right there.
You're fine. So now the diff is completely freed up from the axles.
And the drivetrain and everything else. So
Yep, the
now
diff right there. You can see that gap, so it's already pulling off. So now I guess we're just gonna try and
now we're just gonna try and
lower the whole thing down and pull it out.
After all that, we finally got the diff out.
So what we had to do for this, here, hold it up.
Yeah, that's easy.
So the 2 bolts that go right here,
Those really, really long bolts.
they go all the way up through the power brace. They go all the way up through the power brace. And then this sits at the top. So that gap in between this and right here is where the diff sits. And then there are 2 nuts that are pressed into this piece at the top. So you thread these 2 bolts in, get a few threads on them, and then hammer them to push those 2 nuts on the top out, and then just unscrew the bolts, pull them out, and then the diff pretty much wiggles enough so that you can shimmy this top piece out. Once you get that out, the diff is completely free to move around, and you can just wiggle it and pull it straight out from there.
That is how you remove a diff in a Miata. The fact that it has those braces and everything on the diff, man, that thing's freaking huge.
Yep.
That thing's massive.
A lot different than a 240 diff.
It's a lot different than G too, because the G just bolted up to the top.
Yeah.
But that's how you take out the diff in a 1990 Miata. I believe that the 1990, I believe that the NB series is actually the exact same way.
It probably is.
I'm 99% sure that the 1.8 liter is the same way as the 1.6 liter. But that's it. So we're gonna get this thing welded, and then we'll put it back in, and that'll be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned. Hopefully we can show this thing actually getting welded. We'll see how the tuner, if the tuner lets us do it or not. Let's just actually videotape it. But if not, next time you see this, we'll be installing it, putting it back in the Miata, so that we have a welded diff in the Miata finally, and we can get sideways. Oh yeah! Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Look at this jet tag. That thing's something else.
Girl, you so pretty. Your mama let you date, girl.